I know you're big on mentorship and you do coaching. What do you pay for coaching? And why do you feel like it's so important?
That's a great question, and I think more people need to ask that because there's a hustle culture that's being pushed right now, in my opinion. And so a lot of times the ego of one person doesn't let you humble yourself, and because that's what you're doing when you add a coach or a mentor. It's hey, I don't know everything. Teach me, correct me, and then help me, so to say. With the hustle culture, it's kind of frowned upon. You should know everything. You should go figure it out.
This here is for you guys, the movers and the shakers, the motivated and creators, the big thinkers, the big dreamers, the outliers, the one pushing the needle forward, the students of the game and the ones making their lanes, the ones that get things done and know everything is one. Welcome to your pod, the Everything is Everything podcast. Let's go.
Can't ignore it, this my story, I've been more than ready. And this stuff I'm cooking up is like culinary. True intentions, must I mention, it's just legendary.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Everything is Everything podcast. My name is Vladimir Ledesma. On this episode, we have a very special guest. His name is Kewin Garabito, a good friend of mine and also an agent who stopped by to share some gems with us. Unfortunately, we lost a little bit of this podcast, so we're going to be starting somewhere in the middle. But we're going to take off right from where it's at because we still felt there was a lot of value to be shared with you guys. And you guys know how we do. One take, still get it. So hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, catch you guys on the next one. I know you're big on mentorship and you do coaching. What do you pay for coaching? And why do you feel like it's so important?
That's a great question, and I think more people need to ask that because there's a hustle culture that's being pushed right now, in my opinion. And so a lot of times the ego of one person doesn't let you humble yourself, and because that's what you're doing when you add a coach or a mentor. It's hey, I don't know everything. Teach me, correct me, and then help me, so to say. With the hustle culture, it's kind of frowned upon. You should know everything. You should go figure it out. Go fail fast, quickly. For me, I want the disadvantage. The you know what I mean. I want to be. I want to be, and not cheat, but I want the unfair advantage where it's. I want to be better, faster, quicker.
I don't want to go through all the BS.
Correct.
Let me skip that.
Correct.
How can I skip that?
And to do that, it's coaching and mentorship, okay? There are people that have done it already. They've created the path. They've been where you've been. And so if for me, I have to pay, and I pay about $600 a month for my coach, for me, that is money that I see as an investment. And it's money that really, I get tenfold of that back.
Right.
From the value of this person that has already been through what I've already been through. There's something to be said, when you're starting a business, there is nobody, the good thing about starting a business is that, you're your own boss. You get to do what you want, say what you want, start whenever you want.
Right.
The bad thing about being an entrepreneur, you're your own boss. All right, you get to do what you want, say what you want. There's nobody holding you accountable. I know you really want to do this, but this has really been working for you. Even though you don't like it, this is the one for you type of thing. So it's hard to pinpoint the one thing that kind of flipped the switch for me with the coaching, but because it's just an ongoing thing. I mean, this is long term, and so she's able to set basically like the parameters, because again, right, with the entrepreneurship, you can do everything and you want to do everything, and here for me the ability. The powerful thing with coaching is that they just help you keep on track. I'll set goals. I used to set goals in January for the year, and then by March or whatever, middle of the year, those goals are gone. In my previous experience with the coach, she helps you align and say, wait a second, no, the goal is to get X amount of listings. The goal is you want to do this, you want to have an assistant, you want to do that. So it's just kind of holding me accountable to what I really want, which is, again, right, that financial freedom and what and as you go on through entrepreneurship, you think you want something, but you really don't. Yeah, that's just another gimmick. It's another thing. I have found value with the coaching that it helps me, stay in line, stay focused, and, finding that clarity.
Are they almost like a therapist too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just the other day I was bummed out. I was like, this, F this business. This ain't for me. This is a scam. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, and she was like, stop. That's negative mentality. Get out of that type of thing. And I said to her, I'm in a funk. I feel like I'm not moving. This is happening, but it's really not happening. Like, I feel like a fraud, an imposter, whatever. Yeah. And she was able to, the one thing she said to me, typically, first of all, the one answer to any problem is go find a new listing. All right, number one, you got a new listing, you'll feel pretty good. That's, talking real estate. But the second thing she said was get into massive action. And we know that, right? Oh, yeah, well, your action. Yeah, we know what that is. But there's something to be said about somebody that you respect telling you that. Of course, I'm paying her, but I also respect her because of her productivity. There is something to be said about her telling me that, take massive action, and you'll get out of your funk. I literally got off the call, I jumped on the phones, and mind you, the little backstory is I wasn't dialing for like a week because I was in a funk. She said, after this call, get on the phone and just start calling, whether it's past clients, new clients, anybody, just start talking to people and you'll get out of that. I said, bullshit, you're lying, no way. I did it, I got out of it within 20 minutes.
In regards, because you've had a couple coaches.
Yeah.
What do you look for in the coach to know, or how do you know or decide this coach is a good fit, this coach has brought me to the level that I think he can or she can bring me? And how did you know, like, to be like, hey, and know I feel good where I'm at with this coach, or this coach is hitting the markers for me?
So you have to be able to track, like, where you're at or where you're starting and then where you're ending when you're starting to have those conversations, number one, so that you can see if there's any results, if there's any, result from your investment.
Yeah.
So tracking, and I think that, honestly, at its core, I think it's just a feeling. Your gut, I think, is what typically, for me, Yeah, because if you're questioning what it is that they're telling you, then it's probably not a right fit. To me, that's, if I'm constantly having conversations with my wife about how this person is telling me to do something and I think it's a little bit better, it's probably not a good fit, versus the mentality of, when you're with somebody, a good coach, it's for me, it's been yes, yes, sir, no, sir type of thing, meaning tell me what to do and I'm going to do it to a T. And if this doesn't work, I'm calling you out on it because now I wasted my time on that.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to put you in your spot, right?
So you hold them accountable as well.
You have to. I'm paying for them.
Yeah.
I have to.
I love that.
And it's not, I joked when, pointing the finger, it's more of respect. And it's I've never done that.
It's like,
because
hey,
it's worked
I've
out.
really done it.
Yeah, because
I've
it's
really
worked.
put in the work.
Right. Typically when I say, oh, well, this better work, it's because I'm already doubting the person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Versus the good coach that I know will get me to the next level, I'm not doubting it. So it's a feeling.
How many coaches have you had?
Total, that I've paid for?
Yeah.
Total 3. 3 coaches in my career. Endless amount, the ones that I haven't paid for.
And don't have to mention any other names. Were all 3 a good fit?
No. One in particular was not a good fit. So I gained most of my business on the phone. That's just how I learned how to pick up the business. Mm-hmm. And so one of them was more passive. And, the other side to coaching is that they're only going to teach you how they picked up their business.
Right.
Which is,
doesn't necessarily have to be your way. Yeah.
Right. And so you take that however you want. Some people see that, okay, I'm going to work on my weaknesses. Some people, like me, I said, I don't want to do it that way. That's not going to work for me. That's not my personality. And so that guy's approach was more passive. My approach was more aggressive, go out, go after it type of thing. Give me the tactical plan. I don't have to worry about my mindset. I can figure out my mindset. Give me the tactical and I'm going to be able to bang it out type of thing.
Yeah.
So, there was one that didn't really work out. And you have to have that kind of. You have to know yourself.
Well, and that's the reason I asked, because right, I actually did pay for a coach a year and a half ago, and I can't say anything negative. It was a good experience, but I only did it for like 4 months. I don't know that I gave it enough time. I don't know if 4 months is enough, but I will say that I was actually turned off by the energy. Like you said, it's an energy thing. And I just felt like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not like
It's just
the alignment of like, because it matters, right? It matters. Like, do I want to be like this? And see, like, I'm not really convinced. You're not gonna win me over with Lamborghinis and mansions, because I know that your daddy could have also gave you that. So I'm from a different cloth. Like, I want you to be able to explain your story, like we've been talking for the last hour, and you to tell me exactly. And then when I start putting things together and it's like, it just so happens that your wife's really rich too? Okay.
You want to
thanks for being my coach and stuff, but is it you, or is it just that, you're blessed? And I'm not knocking you, because if you're blessed, you're blessed, but how can you teach me to be blessed?
Yeah, we're living in a weird time. Anybody, you really can fake it. Until you make it. And
that's why I have that love-hate relationship with coaching. It's not that I don't believe it, because I look for mentorship every day. I would consider, but I do look for it more like, I consider you one of my coaches. I consider Brian Dale, definitely Brian Dale. Brian Dale gave me most of my system.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So like, he coached me. And I'm in his downline. He gets paid for me. Yeah. I tell him, you're gonna get paid exactly off of the result of what I really make. So that's actually how I came to the brokerage that I'm with now. And I said, hey, look, I went and met with Brian, and I said, listen, hey, I'm actually not joining this because I hate brokerages. I don't even care about any of these brokerages. I'm coming for you, brother. I'm coming because of you, and because I want to know the secret sauce of what you're doing. And, how does this work? How will we make this work? He told me, and he said, that's perfect. This is the downline. I know what you're going to get from me joining. I already know that I produce. I want you to make me a top producer so it can be more better for the both of us.
Yeah. And there's two sides to that mentorship. It's either time or money. If you got all the money in the world, great. Go ahead. Go spend the most amount of money on a coach, great. Most people don't. So then you have time. Now you can offer that, right? When you don't have any money, you offer your time, because success, you get so busy, and then as an entrepreneur, there's only certain things you need to be doing. I only need to be on the phone making appointments. That's it. Right. Everything else, may fall where it may. But I still need other things in the business that need to get done. And so if somebody came to me and said, hey, I could do XYZ for you, take it off your plate,
right,
and now you have more free time to do whatever you want, why wouldn't I do that? Why wouldn't I take somebody on? Why?
100%.
That's anybody looking for a mentor. That's the approach. It's I don't have any money to offer this guy, but what can I offer instead? What skill do I have? What can I take off of their plate so that I can then learn the business and then do my own thing 2 or 3 years down the road?
Exactly. And one more thing that was important that you mentioned is ROI. You do look and say, all right, I'm paying you, and you're giving me valuable tools. If in 6 months I look at this...
And I think that's plenty of time.
Right? If in 6 months I look at this and I didn't get an ROI on this, then, is this the right coach for me?
Right.
Because it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad coach. It just means,
no, correct.
Is this the right coach for me? So I think that's super important. I love that you shared that, though.
Excellent.
It is something to be highlighted with the Instagram game, because that's such a fallacy sometimes.
Absolutely.
Some of the most successful people I know have no followers.
Yeah.
Like, literally. I was looking at somebody who I really respect and admire their life more than even just their business. Like, they're not like, but I know them as a very popular person, like always in parties and weddings every year. There's a 40-year-old, like, it's not like just got out of college. Still living a life, like very abundant life, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I just went to their page and I just looked at it, which I never had before because I've had them for years. And I was like, they got 350 followers.
Yeah.
And I was like, they've gone to 350 weddings since I've seen them. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, so it's like, you can be deceived. by saying like, and then there's a person with $1 million that's a hermit that's never even left their house.
Yeah. It's a little deceiving. Yeah. But
you gotta be careful.
A
with
lot of my
social
success
media.
is due to that, for sure.
I love that,
for
man.
Sure.
Yeah, so please keep going about Brian and discipline and why that's so important.
Right. So fast forward to 2019, Brian sends the email, and I just realized that I wanted to be around, again, right, with the same mentality as before, getting me close to somebody that's already doing it, so that I could just R&D, rip off and duplicate exactly what he's doing. He was holding a lot of listings at the time, so it just made perfect sense. Even though I didn't want to be in that position as a buyer's agent, which is what he wanted at the time, I realized I can go in as a buyer's agent, right, but do a whole incognito type of thing.
Learn the game.
And then, eventually, if things don't work out, then I'll have the skill necessary to kind of do my own thing. Moving forward.
Love it.
That's, and again, being around him and his structure, it just gave me the blueprint on how to become disciplined. And I think that's the key is everybody talks about discipline. I think we all, we know what it is.
We all aspire.
We all aspire, right? But again, for me, I'm just visual. I'm able to see somebody do it. And again, it was just so easy for me. I said, okay, whenever he goes to the office, I just need to be there. He calls for X amount of times, I just need to be there for that. So it was very, it was quick. It was fast. Between December 2019 that he sent the email till about, I would say, maybe late January or February, I was on the team calling. We were doing buyers. He still has a tremendous amount of buyer business in his database that he wasn't getting to. So he only knows the cold calling aspect of the business. So I did the same thing he was doing for listings, but I was doing it on the buyer's end. And we were scheduling about, 5 to 7 appointments a week on just buyers.
Wow.
Yeah, but all from the discipline of cold calling.
All from the discipline of cold calling. Let's speak about your routine that you got with Brian and what that routine kind of looked like and what you transformed it or adopted to make it your own. What your routine kind of looks like for that cold calling and what your morning starts off like and what you do.
So again, right, I think there's a little bit of a problem with entrepreneurs where we want to achieve a goal and we start to get creative and we want to, we know what we should do, but I'm going to put my own twist into it. 2, 3 weeks, 3 years into this whole thing. Instead of building the foundation first and building the habit and building the discipline first and then getting creative. Right? Once you've learned the habit and, learned the discipline, then you can talk about adding your own twist to it. I think we add our own twist to anything a little too soon.
Right.
Okay? So I was able to learn and really just copy exactly what he was doing. He was into the office super early. He would be dialing till about 12. And then from there, he would go on appointments. Okay? Whether that was showings or that was listing. He was doing the listings. I was doing more of the buyer appointments.
Right.
But the first 2 years, I of course, right, I joined the team. The first 2-3 years with just him, it was that. It was the schedule, so to say. It was get into the office early in the morning, schedule everything between 1 and maybe 4, and then the showings would be after 4 because typically people work till 4 or 5.
What's early morning?
And all of that.
Like? What's early morning?
So at that point, it was, just kind of, I didn't have any kids, no real responsibilities. It was just, get out of bed, eat some cereal, and then go to the office.
I'm in there at 8?
Yeah. I wanted 8. It was probably more like 9:10, 9:15 type of thing.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Just trying to gauge an idea. Like
right, so that, right, and that was...
office around 9.
Correct. And that was, again, because I once I got onto the team, I didn't want to look bad, right? This guy, that's the beauty of being able, being around high performers, high levels, high people that are succeeding at a high level. You really don't want to look bad. Like you just don't, and you want to
accountability.
Yeah, you want to look as good as them, so to say. So, but subconsciously, I was building the habit and building the muscle of the discipline, which I didn't know at the time.
I love it.
Now, right, what I do now is a little bit different. Right, I have a daughter. I'm married, and my company, who I am with now, allows me to be virtual. Okay,
Right.
So mornings are a little bit different now. Now I
You don't want to shout them out, or we're okay to? No? F them? All right, go ahead.
My
Go ahead.
I don't know if I could or not, so it's up to you.
I'm gonna let y'all know. No. You shut him out. You shut him out.
I'm not tied to anybody.
He's Kewin Garabito.
Right.
I like that. We're branding ourselves.
No, it's true.
So
It's
y'all
true.
know.
Right. So now, priorities change, very different, and it's a little bit more, there are other things that take priority. So to say, and not for nothing, I've developed the skill, so now I don't have to be hustling that much harder anymore. Okay? Nobody talks about, time on task, meaning you just do something for long enough and you're just gonna get good at it, right? Doesn't matter your skill level. Doesn't matter, and it's anything. Entrepreneurship, it could be an athlete, it could be
10,000 hours.
Yeah, I mean, at its core, that's what it's about. It's time on task. And so I've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time on the calling and, creating business through the phones that now, before I used to spend 4 or 5 hours to get one appointment. Now I can do that within an hour, hour and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, typically I'm scheduling about 1 to 2 a day. 2, I'm having a really good day. 1 is like an average day. I try, so now I wake up, to your previous question, I'll wake up and I'll really want to spend time with my daughter before I do the whole business thing. It's, when I wake up, I work out, we do that, and I really, those mornings are really special for me.
You work out as a family?
No. Absolutely
you
not.
You said we work out. I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome.
Absolutely not. We, as in the collective in this room.
Oh, okay, I got
the
you.
entrepreneurs that are with me.
All right, I'm with you. Okay.
She, the baby's 2 years old, and my wife is a big sleeper. She don't mess around with, she needs her sleep.
She needs her beauty.
So it's just me.
Good.
It's just me. I wake up about, maybe 5, 6 in the morning, get a workout in, get a good sweat, and after that, my daughter wakes up about 7. And I really want to just, be fully focused and fully intentional with that time. I think after that 8:30, 9 o'clock, real estate can just take control. And what I mean by that is my mood can be all over the place.
Yeah.
And so that I realized for me that morning is just special. I'm literally at my most natural state, and it's literally just me and her. Not even her mom's around. And so it's special. It's special. And that really sets the stage for the rest of the day for me. So about an hour, hour and a half with her. From there, about 8:50, I should be in the office. Latest would be maybe at 9:10.
Okay.
And by the time I get there, there's affirmations that I do to kind of set me up mentally, because it's tough, brother. It is tough.
I know.
And so you really want to be in the right mindset, but the affirmations just give me that confidence that I need to kind of take control of the day and get my appointments and do what I have to do. That lasts between 9 and 12 typically, 11:30. I may go in a little extra. And then from there, it's just really appointments. Physically being with mostly sellers now, but every now and again, I'll work with a buyer. And then I really try, I'm still working on it, but I really want to be home by 6, where I can have dinner with the family, and then, completely shut off about 8:30 or 8.
Just unwind.
I really, and the bedtime thing is something that I really want to be involved in as well, where I try not to, do anything. I block it out. It's in my calendar. It's blocked out. Bedtime with Ray. Nothing else. Phone shuts off. And it's just, again, me and her, because I'm so out during the day. Like, I'm really not accessible.
Yeah.
So I just try, even if, for me, if it's enough, weekends, of course, that fills the rest of the tank. But during the week, that really, early morning with her, late night with her is enough for me.
I love that. I love so many things you said there. I really want to unpack. This might be a little extended, because I like this one. I like where you went with it in many ways. So I love taking the time for your daughter. I feel like this is a new age thinking, the new entrepreneur, the new, like from the 4-hour work week kind of situation, the FIRE movement, where I think the new entrepreneur cares about lifestyle just as much as business. Where it's not just like, oh, I want to become the most rich person in the world. It's like that freedom. Time is our biggest asset, and you're making sure that you're protecting your time in a very major way. It sounds like to me.
Yeah.
And I love that you take that time with your daughter in the morning, and at night I do the same. I turn my phone off, which when I got in the industry, that was actually something that I saw people not doing, right? Some of the mentorship that I was under, they were answering the phone at 11. And I'm talking about very, very successful people, and that I respect still regardless very, very much. But I was like, that's a boundary that I need to create that boundary that I don't like that. Like, I'm not going to be answering my phone at 11 o'clock at night, and I shouldn't be looked at as a bad agent if I don't. Because it was like, oh, well, you lost that business. Well, they called somebody else at 9 p.m. Like, dude, it was 9 p.m. Like, you shouldn't be calling anybody anymore.
Yeah, right now, we spoke a little bit about, there's the good side of social media and the internet, and then there's a bad side. Mm-hmm. And there's a tremendously, right now, it's all about the hustle culture. And, we praise the people that can put in, 16-hour days, and the ones that are always on call. Man, that guy's a hustler. Yeah, like, cool. That's great, but that really should be looked at as a season of life, meaning it should be temporary. It shouldn't be forever. That shouldn't be the goal, and we get stuck on it being the goal. Like, this is the normal, when in reality, your quality of life is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible living like that.
Yeah, I think we're weeding off. I think that's coming off now. I think that a couple years back, maybe like circa like 2016, 2020, even maybe a little bit more, maybe just my algorithms changed because my mindset changed. But I used to see a lot of that and be like, hustle. And then I have seen, though, where the balance has come way more. I think COVID did that for a lot of people, where the balance came way more into play. And now people are thinking a little bit better, but I like that you're implementing it, because in our industry specifically, it's super hard to do because the expectation of clients and because of the way that our structure of being paid and everything is, sometimes you'll feel guilty for doing it. And I think that you have to really get seasoned and really say, hey, wait, no, I got to really remember, one, why I'm even doing this thing, why we got in here, right? And then putting those boundaries for yourself, knowing I'm gonna work hard. Okay, because if you're an agent, you gotta work hard at some point. But really deciding that, all right, I go hard from 9 to 6, and in the morning I'm with my daughter, and at night I'm with my daughter, and I'm turning this thing off. That's powerful.
They, for whatever reason, we believe that real estate is the end all be all, and I don't know where I heard it, but it's the truth. Real estate is not urgent. It really isn't, okay?
Right.
And the transaction, there's nothing that needs to really get done within the 24 hours. Like, it just doesn't exist for the most part.
Right.
But the industry, the people, the clients, I don't know who, or a mixture of everything has now created this sense of urgency with this business, and it puts that pressure on us that we have to act a certain way. Well, if you're really successful, then you're probably a really bad family man. Or you're really not good with relationships outside of work because you're just so invested in the business. And I think that's just entrepreneurship as a whole, that like you're devoting so much time to your business that everything else in your life, your health probably is shot. You're probably a bad husband, a bad wife, whatever. When in reality, why can't we mix everything and intertwine and be happier for it?
I love that. Yeah, no. I love that you're doing that. And then another part that I think you mentioned in there was in your actual work day. So you're off on the weekends? You try to be off on the weekends?
Off, right?
I know.
What is off? I try, and that's something I'm still working on.
But you do a time block probably as well.
Absolutely. So I still do some lead gen Saturdays, early morning, only because the pickup rate. So when you get with entrepreneurship, at the beginning it's work hard. You're gonna work harder than everybody else. Mm-hmm. At some point though, the working hard, it only gets you so far. You then have to be strategic.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I recognized that there was just more people were picking up on Saturday. It's an off day for most people. Most people are W-2 employees. Yeah. Everybody's off. People pick up more phone, more relaxed.
Not stressed.
Exactly. So I strategically realized, okay, well, there's an opportunity there. And so Saturdays I've been doing some lead gen. Very, maybe 2-3 hours, just focused work. but then after 1 o'clock, I'm pretty much off. And then Sundays, I'll be off. I just told my wife, football season's coming around. I'm going to be emotionally unavailable starting football. So forget about Sundays. I'm out type of thing.
I'm out.
But that, again, it's I've been able to, for now, I've been able to block it.
Okay, I love that. With appointments, because I know you said you're killing it. One appointment a day is like super phenomenal in a 3-hour time period of calling, 1 to 2. What do you think it is? And this is probably me. This is a selfish question. What do you think it is that has turned that for you? What is the thing that has made those conversations that much better? That the turnaround time. One, are you calling expireds or are you calling cold calls? Are you neighborhood calling or are you expireds?
So I call everything. I don't discriminate. I think the idea is at its core. So I'm not that smart, but I like to dumb things down. And so the strategy with calling is just about volume. It's just about asking for business. That's the way I look at it. This is my mindset.
Yep.
And so in order for me to, how often can I ask for business in the most efficient way, right? I could door knock, right? I could probably send some ads. I could do this, I could do that. For me, it volume-wise, calling was the way, okay? That's number one. To get to that, right, being strategic, I tried the expireds for maybe 6-7 months, and I wasn't getting enough pickups. So the pickup rate was terrible.
Right.
So I pivoted to, I think I did maybe FSBOs at some point. Same thing, people weren't picking up. And then I recognized that the circle prospecting was where I was getting a higher pickup rate.
Okay.
So I said, all right, well, this is the niche. So from here, time on task, right, like we spoke about before, I did it so much that you hear everything in the book. You really do. And so I was able to build that muscle that helped me become comfortable in doing it. And
You're a black belt in cold calling.
To answer your question, the one thing that I think really, lit things up for me, believe it or not, I would say is clarity. And I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, right? People are always looking for like a one secret. What's a tip?
No, tell me.
It's the ability to dumb things down for me and become real clear on what it is that I want. Okay, so circling back to the beginning of how I got into this whole thing, the financial freedom and that FIRE movement, I was able to really tap. When I left Brian and I left the team and I was gonna go on my own, I got back to why I was doing it, and I got real clear on how to do it, so to say. So the problem, talking about real estate specific, there are so many ways to make money in this business. Yeah. So many ways. Yeah. And that's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing, okay? Everything works. Open houses, I was doing pretty good with the open houses. Door knocking, I was doing door knocking at the time too. I don't know if I've mentioned that or not. Great, works great. Facebook ads, all of it works. Believe it or not, it all works. It's just how long am I willing to do it before I see a result? Okay?
Yep.
That for me was the key. That's what helped me narrow down the calling. That's what helped me, get clear on what it is that I want. And I was able to tap into that financial freedom, and I realized what's the quickest way for me to get there? It was cold calling. It was asking for business every single day, getting rejected. That for me, I realized that was the quickest way for me to kind of get to where I wanted to get to.
I love it.
And that flipped the switch for me, and I realized, okay, this is all I have to do is, sit here, be disciplined enough, make the calls, get rejected on, but just get that one appointment. Clarity. That's the secret sauce for me.
So the goal is I'm on phone calls until I get this one appointment.
Yeah.
That's your clarity.
That's literally it, because I know, in this business, the more people I talk to, the more appointments I make, the more people I meet in person. I go in and I check the house. I don't get all of them, but it gives me a better shot, right? If I go on 20 appointments in a month, right, and you only go on 2, I have a bigger rate. I have a bigger chance of closing more. Yeah. Volume. Yeah. It's just volume. And so that's what I recognize. That's what I realized. And the goal, again, clarity for me. And, we can get into the intricacies of the calling. Yeah. I think most people are trying too hard and they're trying to sell over the phone, nobody signs over a phone call. Nobody's gonna, invite you over. That's not where the battle happens. Clarity, right? Speaking about clarity, the goal when you're on the phone is just to get in the door. It's just for an invite. That's it. For me, that's my mission is how can I translate all this energy, my energy, through the phone to this person who doesn't know me, right? To invite me in and then help me, hopefully I can help them, get whatever it is that they want at that point. But the goal when I'm on the phone is just to schedule one appointment. That's it.
I love that. So it all goes back to one thing. It all goes back to clarity. And it all goes back to discipline.
Ain't that the truth?
I love it. I love it.
At its core, that's what it's about, right? The discipline of doing the same thing every single day and the clarity of just one goal a day. Everything else doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter. But if I can get my appointment, it makes it worthwhile.
This has already been phenomenal. I'm gonna close it out with one last question. What do you do daily that helps you perform at your best in your business?
Daily, I would say the affirmations I think are key.
Okay.
I think the affirmations, again, there's a mental side to this entrepreneurship where we have to break down what we believe to be true. And so words are powerful, right? If we're saying it, I'll stand in front of a mirror and I'll say these words to myself and there's a belief in it. No, I don't have the $1 million, but it's that much more believable if I say it out loud, right? No, I don't have the Escalade, but it's that much more believable if I say it out loud. As crazy as it is, I think that for me, the affirmations is something I do on a daily basis.
Do you mind share? So you mentioned two there. Do you say you already have $1 million, or is that how you go about it, or do you go like you're headed towards getting it?
No, you have to. For me, it's as if it's already done. It's as if it's already done. Personally here, I had, and it was something silly, and I preparing for this podcast, I realized that it's actually come true. I used to repeat that I was a listing machine, and I used to say that all the time. And it's right, something silly, puts a smile on my face. I'm like, oh, listing machine, what the hell does that mean?
You're a listing machine,
but
I like it.
I'm looking back and I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, not for nothing, this shit works. Like, I would consider myself a listing machine.
Absolutely.
And it's again, right, it stemmed from the daily affirmations and that's really the only thing that I can kind of trace that back, my success to that, like in specific, that where I would literally, and to this day I still do, repeat myself, hey, I'm a listing machine. Among the other, I have about 5 that I say.
I love
right
that.
now.
But, so they're affirmations that are like, they're done.
Absolutely. Act as if.
Act as if. I love that.
And, the vision side to that, you really do have to imagine it. I think, I'll lay at night and I'll envision myself going on the listing appointments, driving the fancy car, living in the house, which has come true to a certain extent.
Yeah.
All of that. I think all of that kind of intertwines. I think, envisioning it and the affirmations, two big things.
I love that. And then I'm going to leave you off. So I already know that you are a successful real estate agent. One thing we didn't even talk about, a successful investor. You have a few investments at this point that you have for yourself. You just closed on a house last week. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
That's your third, or?
That is my altogether 4th, but third investment.
Love it. Third investment, and then you have your primary. I love that. Congrats. That's
again, right, towards the main goal of financial freedom.
Yeah,
soon.
Of things paying for themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even though now you love your cold calling, it's a part of your mechanism, I'm sure.
Yeah. I would say it's part of kind of who I am type of thing. Which is weird because I remember being very fearful of, and picking up the phone and my hands shivering and shaking and getting cursed at. And now it's kind of become a part of my life.
Because when you master something, it becomes enjoyable. Something that maybe you feared before is now an enjoyable part of your day.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So the last one I'm going to leave you with, where does Kewin Garabito see himself in 10 years?
10 years. So I would say, honestly, out of the real estate game, as much as, we just spoke about how it's a part of my life, I don't, real estate is just, I think, a tool should be used to catapult you to what you really want to do. Nobody, no kid out there says, "Oh, I want to be a real estate agent."
Be a real estate agent.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't exist. I don't think it does. At least.
You're right.
Maybe now with Netflix and everything going on, but not when we were growing up.
Yeah.
So I never, long term, I don't see myself on the sales side of this business. I don't think I have a desire, but I do recognize that it's going to give me the life that I really want. And so for me, I have it in my vision board. The idea is to get an RV and travel, put the kids in the car and, take as much time as I want, travel in the 50 states, homeschooling in there, just seeing what the world has to offer. I think we live in a bubble. New York alone, it's its own bubble, right? I'm in my own bubble, in my own world, myself. And so I would love to give that to my kids, just all the different cultures, all the different styles, all the different people, so many lessons that could be learned outside of New York State.
I love that.
That's where I see myself. That's, that's part of, that would be, the goal under the financial freedom is to, finance that lifestyle for me.
So investments to be just bringing in the money. So properties to be bringing in the money.
Right.
And then now you have those things on autopilot and enjoying your time with your family and
traveling. Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly, brother. That's the
awesome,
goal.
Man. Kewin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, brother.
I appreciate you, man.
I love what you guys are doing here. I'll say, what you guys are doing here is so special. I think putting the camera on people that, are doing the day-to-day, are doing, what it is that we do in any business, in any industry, and highlighting that I think is really special. So kudos to you guys for what you're doing. I'm really excited. Hopefully you guys take this to the end, baby.
I appreciate it. Please let people know where they can find you, Kewin.
You can find me at Homes with KG on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel that I throw some content up on there, and Facebook. I think Kewin Garabito. Best way to find me.
Homes with KG is also your YouTube channel?
Yes. Yes.
Want to make sure that
you could do it there. How many Kewins do you know? Right. So quick Google will probably find me. Google search.
And and I want to shout out. Me and Kewin also partner up on deals because I'm big on telling people how. Just working together, working with people. Real estate agents aren't enemies, even though some agents are funny, but we're not enemies. We could really work together and do a lot. So I appreciate you for what we do as our partnerships as well. With that being said, this has been another amazing podcast, taking this thing to another level. I appreciate you guys who have stayed tuned for joining us. And we will catch you on the next one. This is the Everything is Everything podcast. And we're out.
This is extraordinary. Can't ignore it. This my story. I've been more than ready.